Hi and welcome to this week's Peace Diaries, number 8. I'm Helen Jane Rose. I'm an author, channel, energy healer and automatic writer. And as every single week on the Peace Diaries, I write through automatic writing from affectionately call them the DC, the Divine Council. I write whatever message or guidance they want to bring through for this week. And then I read that out. And then my lovely partner Jed, who is a cranial sacral therapist and acupuncturist and an energy healer, he comes and joins me and he brings his perspective and his wisdom and helps to unpack the message. Okay, so I'm just going to read out verbatim what I wrote today. Welcome, beautiful souls, to this week's Peace Diaries. Number 8. Every week builds on the last as we help to get your mind on board with your journey inwards towards inner peace. It's a very holy calling. We mean this not in a religious sense, even though the word is associated as such. We have said before that holy is an activating word, and so we will keep using it. The pursuit of inner peace is a holy calling, but not in the pious way that religion has associated it with. Holy really means making God, your soul, the universe, whatever term resonates with you and feels best for you, your priority over everything else you do. Now, what do we mean by this? Do we mean you should be praying all day, every day? This is not what we are referring to. What we mean in making it a priority is that to experience inner peace has to become your priority. And how do you experience inner peace? By surrendering. And how do you surrender? You accept that every moment is an orchestration of your soul higher self. The more you accept this, the deeper the peace you will feel. Surrender is the key to experiencing inner peace, and this is why we talk so much about it. Again, surrender can sound like a pious religious concept, but it is not. It's a way of life that you choose to follow. It's a way of life that comes from within you. When you decide and choose consciously to follow the path of surrender, you activate the flow state from within you. From there, you have a choice as to whether you follow the flow or resist it. At first, it feels most natural to resist, especially before your mind has come on board and is suspicious of events that occur for you, often feeling like a victim to them. Then, at a certain point, as your mind comes on board, it becomes easier for you to accept where the flow wants to lead you. Life starts to lead you rather than you leading life. Of course, you have a part to play in that you are very much a participant of your life, yet you are not the driving force from your mind. Your mind has stepped aside and let your soul lead you. And as your soul leads, the mind follows in full confidence that everything is occurring as it should be. We remind you again of the tool that we offer you, the Surrender to Your Soul Morning Intention from the Coming Times book. We will ask for the link to be added. To say this every day will be powerful for you, to surrender to the agenda of your soul. You are stating, claiming and consciously aligning with the flow as you say these words. The flow is an intelligence all of its own. It's far more intelligent than the limitations of the mind. The soul self is 10 steps ahead of you. There is a part of the Coming Times book that we would like to remind you of. Okay, so I just need to read out just a paragraph from the Coming Times book that they've basically asked me to add to this week's message. So I'm just going to read that out now. Let your soul lead you and realise that it inspires you most from the silence. That's what's asked of you now and where your true salvation lies. Let sitting in silence become part of your daily practice for you. You were born to live a life that's better than you can ever imagine it to be. Trust your soul to take you there. It's a journey that you don't want to miss out on, but only you can make the decision to surrender to the guidance of your soul, only you. The best advice for the coming times that we can give to you is to let your soul lead you, to start to realise and bring into your reality that your mind doesn't know what's best for you. For your mind doesn't have a clue about what is to come for you, but your soul knows. It's 10 steps ahead of you and is well aware of what's to come on the world stage. For before you incarnated, you watched all the major stepping stones that would come before your full soul alignment. And you observed on the global stage all the events that will push humanity into realising and wanting a higher way to live and be. Okay, so I should sign off as they have done, which is we love you, the DC. And as always, I'm just going to just tune in and see if any additional message, guidance or meditation wants to come through me. We will keep reminding you that sitting in silence is so very beneficial to you. There's an uncomfortableness that comes with doing so, yet there is great power for you in pushing through and allowing yourself to just sit and just be with whatever wants to come up from within you. And such a simple exercise is literally just to feel yourself breathing. It's harder than you might think to stay consciously connected to focusing on breathing in and breathing out. And we're not even suggesting in this moment to do anything more than that, but to give yourself the space, even for just 5 minutes a day, to just focusing on feeling yourself breathing in and breathing out, and noticing how quickly your mind distracts you, how quickly you're pulled away from this practice by your mind focusing on things you need to do, things you haven't done, a whole host of distractions from within you. And we just suggest to you to just come back to the simple practice of feeling yourself breathing in and breathing out, and perhaps noticing as you do so a very subtle movement in your heart, and perhaps noticing the rise and fall in your stomach, and perhaps noticing how your hands are feeling, where you've naturally positioned them, noticing where your feet are, and just noticing how your body feels, all the while feeling yourself simply breathing. Simply focusing on your life force. The force that lives you, that breathes you. The force that affects you in a way nothing else could. Yet, a force whose own intelligence speaks to your body outside of your mind. And just honouring that for a moment. Just taking a moment to honour that life force that sustains you. Okay, so I'm going to take that separately. I'm just going to let it run for a while in silence, and then if you want to do it separately and just stay in silence for a bit longer, then you can. Okay, and now Jed's going to come and join me, and we're going to unpack this week's Peace Diaries.
Thank you, Helen, as always.
Pleasure.
And to the DC for the lovely offering this week. Repetition, obviously, is the insistence, if you like, and there's good reason for it. We don't process things and take them on and change things when we're adults as much as you would do as a child, because the child up to the age of about 7 or 8 is in, I think, alpha stage in brainwaves, so they're a sponge, but we reside in beta, where we have to program through repetition and learning and experience. So it's challenging but absolutely necessary. Yeah, and they offered us another beautiful meditation. It's there for you to use. Helen will put that up as a separate thing, so it's easy to go to. And there was a piece out of the book. Maybe you can share your thoughts on why you think they included that in this week's.
Well, I think it came as a continuation of them wanting a bit of extra explanation about trusting that our soul is, as they call it, 10 steps ahead. And obviously the repetition that they say about how being in the silence, and that's where our soul is communicating to us from. So I think that they're trying to, it's like that constant reminder that it's not through our thoughts, it's through our feeling sense, rather than that's how it communicates. So I feel like that theme was about being in silence more and knowing that that's where the soul communicates from.
Yeah, I mean, we have unpacked this a little bit before, haven't we? And my immediate comment, probably from a half empty then rather than a half full perspective, was, so if the soul is 10 steps ahead, then we must be 10 steps behind. Maybe that was just my state of mind at that time, but I'm sure there's a lot of people would ask that. I guess it can be very frustrating if you're in a difficult stage or phase, whatever's going on for you. But I did ponder it. And I think, if you look at it in isolation, i.e. there's only one period of 10 steps, then yeah, that's a difficult place. But we've had hundreds, if not thousands, of experiences of being 10 steps ahead or behind. Do you understand what I'm saying there?
Explain it a little bit more, please.
Well, you just have to review your life where happen chance things happen, things change, difficult situations came in again, they got resolved. We just have to look at the evidence of life to know that things get resolved. And they always do somehow or other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think what DC are asking us to really hone in on is that is the way things work, and that our soul knows what's going on. The frustrating thing is it doesn't tell us, because we wouldn't follow the crumbs, we wouldn't go through the process, we wouldn't make things change, we wouldn't evolve if we got all the answers.
Exactly.
As difficult as that is, that's the way it is.
Exactly.
Finding that absolute trust and faith is a journey. I don't know if I'm 100% there. I mean, I do believe it conceptually for sure. I've experienced it in real time numerous times. I guess we come back to the layer thing there, don't we? You know, how many times do you want to feel it, hear it, experience it before you absolutely fundamentally know it?
Yeah.
Hopefully that will happen very soon for all of us. Trust in the fact that there is someone with a bigger steering wheel than we've got, who can see ahead, who knows our soul plan, who understands what's required within our soul plan and the lessons to learn and the hurdles to jump, obstacles to navigate, and that, you know, that pathway is being cleared, and it's for us to step into with as least resistance as possible.
Yeah, and I guess, like, from what you were saying, hindsight definitely helps in, like, looking back and noticing that difference between where your mind is telling you something's going to happen the way you think it's going to happen, that's for your, like, best interest, almost like that survival protective feeling, thought, and then something completely different happens that is so much better for you. And I think that in hindsight, when you look back, it strengthens the trust. Like you were saying, there's been numerous occasions, and I think that we could all probably say that when we actually almost study it. It's like almost studying our journey, isn't it? And like noticing those points where it couldn't, the mind it has no answer, and all of a sudden something comes in and there's an intelligence behind it. And so I think it's like we're trusting that intelligence. Like we trust, like they were saying, we trust ourselves to breathe. We don't even think about that, right? And that same intelligence is our soul self, basically.
Yeah, and the mind has no understanding of that. This is heart energy with the trust. And again, you know, if you follow the hindsight route, you'll probably work out that there wasn't one repeated moment, if you like. Each time you got out of a sticky situation, it was something that happened that you didn't know about, it was unexpected, it was happen chance, or it was strange or something. But your mind only recognises history, and it will try and repeat itself over and over and over again, because that's what it knows, and that's the thing we've got to let go of. We don't know the answers, but there is an answer. Just sit and wait for that to come sometimes, as hard as that is.
Yeah, it's that being versus the doing, isn't it?
Yeah. Lots of lovely cliches.
Which I think leads us nicely on. This isn't a cliche, but this has sort of reminded me of when they say about holy being an activating word. And they have mentioned it before, and they kind of say they're going to keep mentioning it. But how do you, in the context of this message, how would you explain it as an activating word?
Well, I think there's a crossover. I mean, in the spiritual world, you know, the term activation is bandied around now and probably even sold in many ways.
Trademarked.
Yeah, and used in various forms. But it seems to be associated in this context with triggering. They're saying, the word holy can trigger you because for some people it brings up religious connotations, and there's a lot of resistance to religion at the moment, rightly or wrongly. But it seems that the DC are saying that the use of activating or triggering words or events is very useful. It must stimulate your nervous system in some way, or prepare you to intake more information or to process more information. And I just thought it was an interesting use of it, that they're poking us in order to get the message over. A bit cheeky, but we have to accept that.
Well, I suppose we have to accept that if we genuinely want to feel inner peace inside of us, and everything that isn't peaceful in us and everything that triggers us we need to bring it up, right?
Yeah. I guess it's like, stirring things up, bringing it to the surface.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if it sits at the bottom, languishing in, hidden places, then it's not able to transform or transmute or do whatever it needs to do. But it needs to come to the surface. It needs light and it needs air.
Yeah.
It needs to be aired, to be seen. So thanks for the triggering activation.
Sorry guys, but just if it does trigger, just like really feel into that, feel what's around it for you, and just bring your awareness to it. I feel like that's part of this, isn't it? If we just have the awareness and the honesty of, how's that making me feel? Then we're kind of switching into, we're observing ourselves, responding, and then we're bringing space between that. And that's kind of where the alchemy starts to happen, isn't it?
For sure, yeah. I mean, holy was definitely triggering for me and I think in an unhealthy way, until quite recently, where I was lucky enough to go to a talk held by a chap who just recently passed, actually, Rory Duff, and he was kind of, I think in his early life he was a geologist, but then he was into the grid lines of the earth and the impact that has and the benefits, challenges. One of the things he spoke about was the position of churches or temples or ceremonial spaces, and the idea that everyone has that those that know these energetic hotspots would then go and build something on it. It didn't actually work like that, according to Rory. That there was some sense of the location, but then they would build some there, which was probably quite a logistical connection to it as well. And then people went there to pray or to celebrate or to do whatever, and that would draw the grid line to that place. So the effect of people coming together to pray, to meditate, to do whatever it is that they do in their religious faith aggregates energy in a positive way. So it helped me reconcile religion. There's obviously some very unhealthy sides of it, but don't put your energy there.
Yeah, and there is with everything, isn't there?
For sure, yeah.
Like within the spiritual community, it's the same thing. It's slightly, what's the word, like pasted over, isn't it? But there's definitely a...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the DC talk about prioritising your soul, God, the universe, and they make a point of saying whichever word resonates with us, because they're kind of describing the same thing, but it's which word feels best. So how does that sit with you? Do you feel like you're prioritising more like your connection with your soul, with God, however that feels?
I try to, but in this passage I think they refer to everything else, and definitely not. I mean, it's very difficult. If that's, the destination of this, then yeah, great. I can't wait to get a sense of what that feels like, where your every thought or I guess it'd be more like breathing again. You know, you do it without thinking.
Yeah.
Where you get to a certain point in your evolution, your spiritual path, where that connection is automatic.
Yeah.
Where you don't even question it, you don't think about it, it just is the priority.
Yeah.
Right now at this stage in our evolution, global, collectively, individually, I think that's a very difficult ask because there's so much stimulation. But we try our best. I guess we just have to keep pulling back when you become aware that you've been pulled into a personality issue, or you know, the ego mind or the mind, to know that that is not the place to be.
Yeah.
And you just pull yourself back, and you keep practicing and practicing the layers and layers and layers of repetition until it does become mirror signal maneuver. So yeah, it would be like my school report, could do better. Always room for improvement.
And that came up, didn't it? In for me, it came up, could do better. In
every one of them.
And recently, in our session that you're recently qualified in, haven't you? In your, do you want
well, I'm studying Dolores Cannon's QHHT. I'm an intern status at the moment, taking on case studies, and it's been quite an eye-opener. I'm really enjoying the exploration into past lives, other lives. But the fascinating part of me is where Dolores calls it the subconscious, or the higher self. So the session is split into two, and the second part is inviting in the person's higher self to come in and basically take over proceedings. So as a practitioner, you're sat talking to two different people at the same time, plus yourself, even though there's only two people there. It's a very high intelligence that comes through, which is undeniable. And it was a could do better comment.
Yeah, it's quite incredible when you listen to it back. You're like, wow, that it's really, and I can't remember what the question was. I think it was about like kind of where am I at on my like soul connection in terms of like inner peace, and it was just really funny to hear. Basically, could do better, which I just thought was quite amusing.
Yeah, it's interesting because for the first part of the session, you're communicating with, it's quite a soft energy, it's another life and it's quiet, but then the higher self comes in and it's like a school teacher almost. You feel like you're sat on guard and you don't want to say anything wrong. It's an amazing experience. Yeah,
it really is, really. So they're obviously continuing to talk a lot about surrendering, which was, you know, from the Coming Times book, that was like the main theme of the whole book. And, you know, they're saying it quite kind of strictly that to experience inner peace, there's no other way around it. We need to be in the surrendered state, or it's not, we can't experience inner peace. But do you consider surrendering an active or a passive state? Like,
I think my mind would say it's passive, but if you feel into it, it's very active. And it's also very subjective, isn't it? I think you have to practice it or just to sit with it to understand that there is movement, because you're never still. If you sat in meditation and you were able to get into quite a deep state, even a healing state, then you'll feel things moving around your body that you can't really explain.
Yeah.
The first thing, you'll feel physical sensations, irritations, annoyances, and in that level, heat exchange, heat changes and things like that. But then when you go beyond that point, then you get a sense of an ebb and flow, unusual movements. Sometimes it feels like almost like a sigh, and that's from the, I guess, meditative perspective. But I think in this context as well, surrendering, in one sense it sounds passive, it feels like you're giving up, but you're not. We're in that state where you're switching from mind to that soul energy that's 10 steps ahead. That's quite a hard thing to do.
Okay, so you can't talk about surrender and not talk really about the flow state, because that is essentially what surrender is, right? And I don't want to use the word hard, but there is a difference, and we have talked about this, between the flow state and the kind of pull of trauma attraction that also feels very strong, and actually is that part of the flow state too, until we heal that.
Well,
or not.
That's a paradox, isn't it? Well, in order to split that into two bits, it's the visceral felt sense, the intuitive feelings that you come back from your body, from your gut.
Yeah.
That tells you whether it's a soul-led flow state or a trauma-led flow state. You'll know. The easiest one, we always pick this one out, is the repeat relationships that are not healthy for you.
Yeah.
Abusive relationships on the extreme side. When that person engages in another one, they know it's not right, but there's some dramatic pull that forces them into that situation. I think in this day and age, there's a lot of help at hand, and awareness around that particular topic anyway. So it's about acknowledging that feeling, and you know you're going to get drawn into it, and then reach out, because it's almost like addiction. Well, it is addiction in some sense. You basically can't stop yourself at that point. You need to wave the white flag and go and say, look, I'm getting pulled into this place. There's obviously things for me to work on. There's some unhealed trauma here, and do it that way rather than trying to resolve it in the relationship itself. But when you feel something is good, your body will tell you. Lots of people report getting tingles, don't they?
Yeah.
I only ever see that from women, to be honest. I've never heard a man report that back. Maybe they just don't recognise it. But I think everyone has some kind of a visceral feedback, physical feedback from the body to say, this feels great. And if you go along with that great feeling and it turns out to be a bit of a disaster, you've got to accept that there was a reason you needed to go into that place, and then to investigate what's going on, your responses to it, the changes you want to make, and also check in, what were you actually really feeling at the beginning? Was it a true yes, or was it a desire that was fueling overwriting the feeling? It's just getting to know yourself a whole lot better. So I think why they keep repeating to us about the surrender to your soul, more the intention, is it really helps to get into the flow state. And I have definitely noticed that the more I've done it and the more I say it, the actual thing's only about 3 minutes long, and I've recorded it, so I'll put the link on the caption to this video, because so you can listen to it, or it's actually in the Coming Times book, written in full. It's like as we say it, we're just lining up with setting that intention of I'm genuinely kind of making my soul's agenda my priority over my mind. And I've definitely still got a long way to go, but I feel like I am starting to notice. I'm noticing the difference. I'm starting to notice now, when my mind is playing up about something, and then it's almost like, no, I'm not even going to allow that. I'm not going to allow that in. So yeah, I do. I feel that to say that it is really helpful. It's really helpful.
and it is only like 3 minutes. And I think they said in another one, even if you didn't want to do that, just to say 3 times, I intend to surrender to the agenda of my soul. You know, that's helpful too.
It is really helpful. I mean, I've noticed lately, on awakening in the morning, before I've opened my eyes, it comes in straight away, before any of the stuff of life comes in.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's distraction at some point, you're making a heart connection, you're recognizing that there's a soul energy about, and you're putting yourself in that lane, if you like. And you know, I guess slowly but surely that becomes second nature, that's what your intention is. I mean, we live in a free will universe, state of being, and why not that intention, that free will, be to live a soul-led life?
Yeah.
And that statement is affirming that.
Yeah.
So, you know, jump on board, enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's affirming it to our mind. So it's like, it's constantly repeating to the mind, come on, this is our purpose almost. And so the mind, you know, as they say, then the mind comes on board eventually and is like, all right, okay, you lead. And that's what we're really trying to get to, isn't it?
Yeah. And ultimately peace.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is our project.
Exactly, which is where we'll get to when the mind isn't driving us
nuts.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much for listening, watching in.
Yeah.
We really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
I hope you can come back next week.
Yeah. Any comments, any feedback, be greatly received.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Send in much love.
Yeah.
Blessings.
Yeah.
And see you soon.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.